Hello, welcome back. It's Shayna Renee again. So I haven't decided yet if we're going to talk about detriments and falls in this video and the worst possible placements. We'll just see how long this video is, and I'll see if we'll put both or if we'll make a separate video. Okay. So when we're talking about a planet in detriment, it means that that planet is in the opposite sign of its home, because every planet has a home sign, and when it's in the opposite sign of that home, it's in detriment. And detriment means that it is very challenged because the energies are directly conflicted, like the planet's themes and the sign it's in are in conflict with each other. Okay, so let's talk about it. All right, the sun sign, and I'll be leaving links for the other videos in the bottom of this video so you guys can check them all out. Okay, the sun is at home in Leo. We know that already. We talked about that, right? But when it's in the opposite sign of Aquarius, it's in detriment. It's large. It's very challenged. If you are an Aquarius sun, like if your sun sign, the one you tell everybody is in Aquarius, it's very challenging. And Aquarius is probably the most challenging sun sign there is, because the sun is made to shine. That's why its home sign is Leo. Okay, it's made to shine. It's made to stand out. Aquarius is the sign of the collective, of the whole, of blending in. Very futuristic, very forward movement. Just think of robots. Like, I'm not saying Aquarius is a robot, but just use this as an example. Okay, in robots, everything is the same, right? Everything's uniform, the collective, the whole. So the sun has a really hard time standing out and finding its individuality and standing out from the crowd when it's in the sign of Aquarius. So you may find yourself becoming like falling into the background, or just having a hard time like standing up and doing things for self, because Aquarius is so all about the collective. So yeah, that's a very challenging placement. If you have your moon in the sign of Capricorn, it is in detriment. It is the most challenging because the moon is the opposite in Cancer, right? The moon is all about emotion and up and downs and all of this, and the mother and the nurturing energy. Capricorn is called the father of the zodiac, or the moon in Cancer is called the mother of the zodiac. So when the mother zodiac body is in the sign of the father, think about a mom and a dad just like arguing, right? Arguing because the mom wants to nurture the kids and they want to pet them up and they want it to be soft, and the father wants to discipline. Maybe they want physical discipline, or maybe they want to be hard on them and have all these rules and all this structure. So if you're a person with moon in the sign of Capricorn, this is kind of the energy that you will have as an internal battle. Okay, you emotionally, you will have a very difficult time expressing yourself, okay, and things like that. It'll be a battle of the wills inside. So then Mercury is in its most challenging placements in the signs of Sagittarius and Pisces, because Mercury is about the facts. Mercury is about information and problem solving. Okay, Sagittarius and Pisces are dreamer signs. They really like the bigger picture. They like to dream. They like to go off in la la land. They like to, entertain theories and philosophy and the secrets of the universe, and stuff that doesn't make logical sense. So when you have Mercury in either of these signs, you may very much struggle with details. You'd struggle with working out the details of things. You struggle with sticking to the facts. You may get really bored with it. Like, it'd be very difficult for you to have like a job in technology. You may have a tough time with communication skills, like actually expressing yourself through words with other people, in relationships, anything that requires communication, information. When Mercury is in Sagittarius and Pisces, it's going to be a fight, okay, between the facts and fiction, so to speak. If you have Venus is the love planet. If you have Venus in Aries or Venus is in Scorpio, it is in detriment. Venus, the love planet, the planet of beauty, the planet of art and romance, it's a very difficult time when it's in Aries, because Aries is all about self, and it's about action, and it's about going after and passion. It's not soft, it's not sweet, it's not all those soft sweet things. And then Scorpio, it represents the darkness, okay, and mystery. Scorpio has a very hard time with Venus's beautiful, romantic, colorful world. So if you have Venus in Scorpio and you have Venus in Aries, like, that's a tough placement, and you're probably going to have a really, really challenging love relationships. Like, I'm not trying to scare you, but you are. Especially with it being in Aries. Like, Aries is the sign of self. It has a hard time blending in relationships already. So Venus in the sign of Aries is even, tougher. Um, and Scorpio energy likes to possess. It likes to possess, right? It likes to own something. It's more like obsessive energy rather than the love energy. So when Venus is in Scorpio, you could probably be dealing with somebody very extremely obsessive, possessive, even dangerous, okay? Um, Mars. Mars in the sign of Taurus, or if you have Mars in the sign of Libra, this is very challenging because Mars is all about action. All right, Taurus and Libra are all about love. Okay, Taurus is very slow, it's very stubborn, it does not like to get up and do. So that is why Mars is in detriment when it's in Taurus. In Libra, it's similar but a little bit different. Libra really likes to weigh out everything before it takes action. It needs to know all the details. It needs to be perfectly balanced, perfectly set up. They need to know that everything is going to be balanced first, right? And Libras, we all know that Libras have a hard time deciding in the first place. So when Mars is in Libra, that energy is really, really even more tough, right? Like deciding to act is like they may never act. They may never ever act. So it's a really tough placement for Mars to be there too. Jupiter. Whenever Jupiter is in Gemini or Virgo, it's really tough. Just like we talked about, Mercury, the planet of information communication, has a hard time in dreamy, philosophical Sagittarius and Pisces. Well, Jupiter is Sagittarius' planet. So when it is in Mercury's signs, Gemini and Virgo. So this big, expansive planet of luck that wants to expand, that wants all the knowledge, that wants to, be out there in the big bad world. It struggles in the sign of Gemini and Virgo. Jupiter struggles in Gemini and Virgo because Gemini and Virgo is about the right here, right now, the facts. They just want the facts. Virgo and Gemini are also associated with like local community or like being a hermit, being like in small space. They don't travel far. Virgos really like to be hermits. They don't want much. They just want the minimal. Gemini really likes its local community. So when Jupiter's in Gemini and Virgo, it really struggles because Jupiter likes to travel. It likes to expand its knowledge outside of the facts. It wants to know the philosophy, the what ifs, the theories. And Gemini and Virgos all focus on the facts and the solutions rather than just the being and the freedom. So Jupiter really struggles here in Gemini and Virgo. Okay, if you have Saturn in the sign of Cancer or Leo, Saturn struggles here because Leo is the eternal child. It just wants to play. Leo wants to play. And Cancer just wants to nurture and feel. Saturn is the planet of structure. It's the father. It wants the responsibility and hard lessons and the go get it. Leo and Cancer don't want to do that. They don't want to put in that long, work, that responsibility. They don't want to put play. Leo doesn't want to put play aside. And Cancer just wants to nurture. It doesn't want to, be hard and have all that father energy. Cancer wants to nurture its home, and Saturn is very much associated with being like recognizing the world. Okay, Cancer doesn't care nothing about that. Cancer energy wants to just nurture the home life. Now Leo, they might like to shine, but again, they like to play. They don't want to put in the work. So Saturn, it's just shitty placement. Saturn in Leo and Cancer is a very challenging placement. Okay, Neptune in the sign of Virgo. Neptune rules Pisces. Pisces is the opposite sign of Virgo. Pisces is dreamy. Pisces is all up there in the clouds, fantasy world. That's Neptune. Virgo wants to get down to the facts. They want to look at the numbers. They want to solve the problem with the facts. Like there's no room for dreaming and all of that, nonsense, according to a Virgo. So if you have Neptune in Virgo, your imagination, like you're going to really struggle when it comes to ideas that exist outside of the facts. Like when people start talking about, the spiritual realm, or people start talking about like otherworldly creatures, or like theories of, metaphysical stuff. Virgo, if you're Neptune's in Virgo, you're going to really struggle with that. Okay. And it could be the opposite too. It could be like you're very, very dreamy and like you can't get on the ground. So it can kind of like go back and forth. That's the thing about these placements. They kind of struggle between both worlds, right? And then finally, Pluto in Taurus. Taurus hates change. We talked about that for the same reason that Mars is most challenged in Taurus, like Mars action. Okay, Pluto is about great deep transformation, deaths and rebirths. Taurus really does not do well with that because it is the opposite sign of Scorpio, the sign of death and rebirth. So if you have Pluto in Taurus, which I'm pretty sure most of you watching this video do not have Pluto in Taurus, that's probably a much older generation, but you might know someone who does because Pluto is a generational planet. It's a really tough placement, and I'm really glad for us and you that you don't have Pluto in Taurus, because out of all of these that I listed, that is probably the most difficult placement because we need change. We must change to grow. And in Taurus, well, it just might not ever fucking happen. And if it does, it's going to happen by extreme force, and it's not going to be pretty. All right, so I mentioned at the video beginning that I'm going to make a separate video for the other worst placements can be, and yeah, I'm going to do that because this video is already a little bit long.